good day, depending on where you're watching us from. It's such a privilege and such a great honor for me to come again today with another episode where, as we're doing this intermittent fasting series, we are doing 30 days of fasting. And today is not a different day because today is day 16. And so it gives me so much pleasure to come online and talk about something else that is on my heart today. I'm so glad to be here again and yet again with another episode. And I just want to begin by a little bit of thanksgiving and appreciation. We have been on this journey for the past 16 days, 16 years. I wish it was 16 years, the past 16 days. Today is day 16. And on these past days, there have been so many people that have been encouraging us. We've had people that have come online with us. I've had friends coming online and chatting together with us on different aspects of this journey. And that has been so much of a blessing. I really appreciate Abigail, who has been here a few times during this challenge. I appreciate so much Kevin, who was here last weekend. And yesterday we were joined by this dear, lovely soul, Ray, who shared with us the many different things that she's been doing for her journey. And it was so impressive to see how much transformation has occurred as a result of her being part of this journey, which is just kind of in a way encouraging because when I do this, sometimes I can easily think I'm doing this by myself. There's nobody else doing it with me. But the fact that I know Abigail is on the journey with me, and I know that Ray has been doing the journey with me from day one, and seeing so much transformation in her really encourages me because this is somebody that I have seen over the last couple of weeks. I see her every Sunday when we are in church, and seeing that transformation really makes my heart really smile, and I'm so grateful. So if you are here today, you are new, you've not been on this channel before, I'll begin by introducing myself. My name is Claire. I am a registered nutritionist, and I am a lecturer. So I'm a senior lecturer at Harper Adams University in the United Kingdom. That's where I do teach. That's where I do every single day of my life. I try to impact students and impact knowledge on various aspects of food science and innovation. Apart from that, I am a mother of a 6-year old. I am a wife as well. I am a Christian, and I carry so many other different hats, like being a sister, being an aunt, being all those kind of things that you can think about. But the most important thing is that I am passionate about seeing people's lives transformed, in particular their health transformed. And that is why I share so much information on this channel, and is mainly focusing on trying to encourage people to have a better life, to encourage people to live a healthy life, because we have only one life as we live, and our bodies are the medium that are hosting this life while we are here on this world. And of course, once we're no longer existing in these bodies, we will be dead basically. And so as long as we have life, as long as we are able to live, it's important for us to look after our bodies and to look after them in a good way. I usually say our bodies don't come with any manual. We don't have like a manual that you can go back to say, I need to do this, I need to do that. There can be things like Eat Well Guide, don't get me wrong. They can be, and those are recommendations, but then you have to try something that works out for you, figure it out, something that works out for you, and then maybe stick on that. And one of the ways in which you can figure that out is, for example, doing some of these things that you can challenge yourself and say, I want to try something different, and see how that thing goes for yourself. And so for myself this month, I've been trying to do an intermittent fasting challenge, just to kind of in a way challenge myself to come out of my comfort zone, to come out of my norm, so that I can try and see some shifts around with my health. There are so many things that I've been covering a lot when it comes to this whole challenge. And today is not a different day, because I will be covering something different when it comes to the aspect of weight loss. And today I want to talk about something that is more important again, because we all will have to fight with these at some point, at some stage of our journey that we are on in terms of weight loss. And this is a weight loss plateau. Take a moment and think about this. Have you ever been on a journey? Have you ever started a weight loss journey? And the first couple of months, couple of weeks or days, it seems like, wow, we are having this amazing time. We are losing quite a lot of weight. So much is happening. And then all of a sudden, you start to see no shift, no changes. As Ray was saying yesterday, I say the similar thing as well. I'm not a great fan of weighing myself, so I don't stick on the scale every time to see what's happening to my weight. But maybe you have the genes, like she was giving us an example yesterday. You have the genes and you've been trying to fit in. It starts to be like, yeah, it's working, and then all of a sudden you hit that plateau, and you're thinking, boy, what can I do? And you're beginning to be discouraged. You're beginning to wonder, what else can I do? I'm here to encourage you, because that's a journey that we all will be on at some point. Our bodies are so good when it comes to introducing a new thing. When we give them a new routine, when we give them a new regiment, they always will be very receptive. But then something usually happens that at the end of the day, once these kind of, in a way, it gets to a point, it starts getting used to it. It starts getting used to it. Now it's like, okay, you're gonna be fasting from 8 in the night until 2 p.m. And so after that, you're gonna just be eating as you've been eating. And so the body kind of, in a way, it keeps memory, it keeps like a count of those things. And it gets to a point, what you're doing might not necessarily be helping you with weight loss. And so today I made some notes here. So I'm gonna be reading some of them just to kind of encourage you, in case you get to point and you're dealing with that weight loss plateau, which can be very frustrating. There are some of the strategies, and today I'm going to be talking about 10 strategies which can help you to break free from that plateau. I'll go straight into them. Strategy number one: reevaluate your calorific intake. When you're doing even intermittent fasting, Ray mentioned yesterday, you can actually finish your fasting and you go back into eating just everything that you forgot about eating when you're fasting. You go back into eating, let's say, a slice of pizza, which can easily be 800, 900 calories. It could be that you're going back to eating and you're eating these dense calorie foods. And then at the end of the day, it doesn't really make much difference for you. Or maybe you started off by eating more healthily, then you get to a point you're starting kind of like, in a way, slug with that and become a little bit maybe used to it. It might be a high chance to start to reevaluate again, to start to go back to those basics, to start to think about again, what are the calories? And sometimes it might just be worthwhile for a minute or a second to try and track what you're eating, to track what are the calories that you're pumping into your body. I usually say myself, I use My Fitness Pal. Is a free app. There are like more advanced versions of it that you can actually try to use, like you can scan your meals and things like that. But I use the basic one. I just feed in my food and I say, maybe I ate today potatoes, I ate some chicken and things like that, and it calculates for you and it tells you how much weight, how much calories have you been able to eat. It might be, so one of the things that you might want again to rebalance that and reevaluate that, so that at the end of it all, you're trying kind of, in a way, to reboost your weight loss. You might want to adjust that, but if you're adjusting that again, do not overly adjust it, because already when you're fasting, you're restricting yourself calories, and you don't want to over restrict those calories. At the end of it all, you still want to be able to have some kind of balanced nutrient intake, so that at the end of it all, your body is having enough that it needs for its daily requirements. The other thing, if you're doing this and combining it with things like exercise, you might be, for example, myself, I do 5 kilometers run every single day. Then it gets to a point that I can basically wake up from my sleep when my eyes are closed. I'll go the same run, same route, almost same time. It might just get to a point that you're like, let me reevaluate and choose something different. If you're a runner like myself, you might decide, instead of running 5 kilometers, you might do maybe 6 kilometers today, and then tomorrow you do 5 kilometers, but increase the intensity, so you're doing more higher pace. Or the other day you might want to do, let's say, another different kind. So you vary that exercise and also vary the intensity of the exercise, so that you're not just doing the same thing over and over again. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. But if you start again to change things, to change stuff around, at the end of it all, you get to a point that you can be able to kind of begin to see shifts and begin to see differences in your health and in your weight as well. Number three, you might want to watch your macros. I mentioned this in some videos before. Macros are those nutrients that you eat in a large quantity. So like, those are the proteins, the fats, and the carbohydrate. You might want to pay attention, particularly to ensure that you have a correct balance, because that correct balance will literally help you. It's the game changer. So usually I find that if I want to lose weight quickly, not like rapidly, but maybe like if I'm stuck in a plateau, I usually try to shift the source of energy. So I go away from kind of in a way using more carbohydrate and eating more carbohydrate, and I'm breaking forth this time. I want to break out from that addiction to carbohydrates. So instead of reaching out to carbohydrates, you can actually decide to eat more protein, which of course in the end is basically more difficult for the body to hold on to it, but will break it. You might end up just overworking your kidney to process that so that you can be able to get rid of the urea at the end of the day. But you might just want to switch a little bit around. And people also go into things like ketogenic diet, where you kind of change your source of fat for source of fuel. So you are eating more fat, and because you're starving a little bit or reducing the level of carbohydrate, the body will begin to break down the stored carbohydrate, and it will start to use ketones as the new source of fat, and that can actually also help you along the journey if you're stuck in a plateau. Number 4 is ensure that you stay hydrated. Hydration is very important. Hydration is key for your health. I will never overemphasize. Sometimes just drinking a lot of water and staying hydrated and being careful as well. As I said, you can end up with things like hypernutremia if you're not very careful, because you don't want to just drink and end up having like imbalances in your electrolytes in the body. But if you're drinking quite a lot of water, try to think about it like, okay, I'm going to drink maybe 2-3 liters of water in a day. If I'm hungry, I usually say, do the thirst test. If I'm feeling hungry, am I hungry or am I thirsty? Drink a glass of water. If you're still feeling hungry, then reach out for the food, because sometimes just when you are hungry, when you're thirsty, you can feel like you are hungry, and that can actually, confusing those cues can make you end up eating more calories than what you need. And so just kind of in a way changing that around can be very super helpful. The other thing, number 5, is think about is mindful eating. Pay attention on the portion sizes, eat slowly so you allow your food to break down. Also, kind of in a way, being able to think about when you're eating, asking yourself, and I've done a whole video on mindful eating. If you want to check that out, it will be something nice to just kind of help you to kind of in a way figure out the best way to eat and savor those portions and enjoy those portions. Chew your food properly, allow the food time to digest, eat without distraction, so that at the end of the day, when you're having that feasting or eating feeding window, you're not just eating and your TV is on, you're chatting around and things like that, but you're giving yourself time to allow your body to break down the food, to break them into smaller chunks, checking your portion sizes, ensuring that you're not taking too much sizes, just kind of portions kind of to in a way to recompensate for the loss of what you haven't eaten within the fasted period. And then number 6, sleep. I can never overemphasize the importance of sleep. Today, I took a day, we had a day off at work, and I stayed at home. I stayed in my bed, and I've literally slept quite a good chunk of time, because there is nothing as important as sleep. Sleep does help. When you start to allow your body to sleep, it goes into processing and recovering and healing of the body. But if you're not allowing yourself time to rest, you're not allowing your body time enough, sometimes people can't hold on to weight, and you can actually find those plateaus just because you're not allowing your body enough time to sleep. We know they recommend around 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep every night. People say 8 hours is optimal. They argue about it. It's not something, I'm not going to join that argument today, but just to tell you that there are things that you can do, again, to encourage yourself and to highlight how important sleep can be when it comes to this journey of weight loss. Number 8 is try to track your progress. Number 7 is try to track your progress. Sometimes you can think that nothing is happening, nothing is shifting, but then maybe because you have no reference, you have nothing that you're using to track your process. As Ray, you mentioned yesterday, she's doing pictures, and after 2 weeks or so, trying to check how much have I been able to achieve and things like that in terms of the weight loss that I've had and etc. And it might be something nice that you might want to think about. Okay, how can I be able to think of actually doing something in terms of tracking, so that I'll know maybe it's my waistline that is needs some shifting, and then finding ways in which you can actually be able to adjust your waistline, so that in the end, ways in which you can be able to work on that particular area, and just trying to shift those things and just trying to understand what are some of the things that you can actually effectively do without necessarily compromising your health, and those can still enable you to be able to still be able to lose weight. So again, something that you can do is track those progress. Keep a detail. You can want to put keep like a detailed food diary or exercise diary, which can help you, of course, identify any hidden issues. You can identify, for example, if you've got things like you haven't just been good at maintaining like those energy that you calories that you need, or maybe you're eating more calories that you need and things like that. Tracking really helps a lot. But I want to talk about tracking again. It can be a source of distress, it can be a source of disappointment, it can be a source of getting to a point in your life, why am I not shifting, why am I not seeing any differences, because you're constantly trying to weigh and things like that. Just tracking in a way to help you be able to see what are the things that I'm doing wrong, and what can I do to improve that. Then the next one, I'm thinking like I'm losing track of which number I am on now. Reduce stress. Stress is very high levels of stress can actually hinder weight loss. So if you're finding that you are maybe stressed out over something, you're stressed out. We all have some things that can make us be stressed out. It could be a family member, it could be a child, it could be work, it could be school, it could be anything. If you have those things that can impact on you, there are so many things that you can do to help alleviate stress. You can do things like meditation, you can do things like you can do some exercises, you can basically do so many different things that can help you to deal with stress. And of course, being able to kind of reduce that in your life can help you when it comes again to this whole journey of weight loss. The other thing to think about again when it comes to this whole weight loss journey, the next thing is consider plateau courses. Like trying to think, sometimes it can be like Ray was mentioning, that for us women it could be that time of the month that is causing that plateau because of the hormonal imbalances. It could be maybe you're on medication and that medication is causing those issues with that plateaus. It could be anything really that is making you to have those plateaus. Identifying those things and then working with them. So if you have like a medical issue, work with medical professionals to solve it. If it's an hormonal issue, it could be like maybe things like bloating. You might actually decide to increase or enhance your intake of roughage that can help you with have a bowel movement, and that can actually alleviate things like bloating. You can try more things like dates. There are so many roughages that can actually help with bowel movements, that can help with reducing or bloating. It could be things like irritable bowel syndrome. Again, there are so many issues that can actually make you to have that plateau. Just identifying them and being able to deal with them can be easier if you know. They say if you know what you're fighting, it makes the battle much more easier than if you don't know what you're fighting with. And of course, the last one, last but not least, is patience. We know the weight loss plateaus are common. They're something that is for everyone. It's not just going to not happen just because you are fasting, doesn't mean that you are immune to those. It will happen to anyone. I've said it's happened to me. It's happened to so many people around. And those can be things that are easy for you to be able to see them. And they can actually be able to, can be maybe discouraging, can be maybe encouragements. I don't know exactly how that works. Oh, well, what happened to my computer? It seems to have like, well, all these fancy things happening around. But if you end up with those plateaus, one thing that I will highly encourage you is do not allow yourself to be discouraged. Just hold on patiently, kind of in a way, continue to encourage yourself. They say Rome was never built in one day. It might take some years. Practice all those kind of things for you to end up with these, but no matter what happens, don't let those things happening at the moment discourage you and actually make you to lose your cool, or to lose your desire, or to lose whatever you're doing, and to focus on your weight loss. And so I'm going to bring this to an end, just kind of in a way. Hopefully that was encouraging, to kind of encourage you, to let you know that at the end of the day, remember that everyone's body is different. Your body is very different from my body, and what works for me might not work necessarily for you. What works for Ray or for Abby, for Kevin, or for somebody else would not necessarily work for you. And what works for one person, again, may not work necessarily for you. It is essential for you to find something that is sustainable, something that is works well for you, an approach that works well, an approach that will help you, and maybe in a way trying to consult with a healthcare professional professional can help you, particularly if you're struggling when it comes to these plateaus. And once you've tried all that you can and you're still finding it difficult, it might just need a little bit more intervention rather than consistently thinking that fasting is going to solve all the issues. I want to bring this to an end. I really appreciate each one of you, the support that you continue to give us. I really celebrate you. And I hope that you know you're highly celebrated, appreciated, and loved. And this brings us to the end of day 16. I shall be back again tomorrow with another episode. Until then, I hope you stay blessed. My prayer is that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your souls prosper. And I shall be seeing you again, as I said. But if you find this to be useful and helpful in any way, would you consider passing this information to somebody else so that it could be beneficial to them? Leave us a like, share this information, or even consider subscribing if you're not yet subscribed, because at the end of the day, we really appreciate everything that you're helping us do. And without you, we cannot be able to do this journey. Until tomorrow, I pray you have a blessed evening, and I shall see you again soon. Goodbye.